while there is obviously lots of respect between teams, once that white line is crossed, we're getting to the stage of the tournament where you sort of toss respect out the window. It's about runs, wickets, and points. So before we go any further, I think it's time to have one more look at the points table, which is now starting to get critical, folks. Here we are, the two teams in question today, two ends of the table, not extreme ends. Bangalore in third place. At one stage in the early part of the tournament, they were leading, looking for a 1-2 almost guaranteed. Now they're going to have to fight for that 1-2 if they really want it. Qualification looks sort of within reach. For Rajasthan, well, they were in that logjam of 8 points. Two teams have got out of it. They too need to see if they can get to 10 points today and try and halt the Bangalore juggernaut from going forward. Pommie, I'm going to come to you first because there's a lot of chatter about Bangalore's remaining games being against so-called lesser opposition, in inverted commas. Now, what's your take on looking at their schedule and saying if you're playing a Hyderabad to finish with and Punjab, does it make a difference at this stage in this tournament?
Look, theoretically, many will say yes, that does make a difference. These are the sides that are not winning many games. These are the sides that look like they're kind of easiest to beat. But it's this league where you presume absolutely nothing. Absolutely, you cannot say because a team's 8th in the log that it means that they're going to lose against the team that's first in the log. Particularly as we come towards the end of the round robin scenario, because so often we've seen that teams that are towards the bottom and many times are out of the tournament already are the ones that are a fly in the ointment for the teams trying to make it to 1 and 2, trying to make it into that 4th spot. And by virtue of losing to a team that's below them, they end up finishing 5th or something like that, or 4th, as the case may be, where they're trying to get to 1 and 2. So yeah, I think because you have in each side match winners who can destroy any opposition on any given day, you cannot assume because of the opposition before you that you will therefore end up where you desire. I think actually the teams that are not playing well, and I'll throw this in there because this year is a particularly big year in terms of performances for players, right? Let's say a team decides, well, much like what's happened with Sunrisers, Warner, look, we'll see what our youngsters can do. Let's see what we have in the cupboard. We know you're really good, but we're kind of struggling and we don't know where to go. Give some other guys a go. The reason those other guys perform, and many players will say, no, we don't look at that. No, we don't think about. There is an auction. There are 2 more franchises coming. It means put your CV on the table. How are you putting your CV on the table? And does it matter who you're playing against? Of course it matters who you're playing against. The bigger the scalp, the better. So you've got more to fight against if you're the bigger side and you're facing the side that's supposedly smaller, lesser, and in worse form. Now, I don't think you can take anything for granted.
Absolutely, Joy. Joy, you've already mentioned the auction more than once in this context. So there's the auction, and there's the fact that even the Hyderabad side are technically not out of it. So while they might play for pride at a later stage, for now they're still playing for position.
No, they're still playing for position, but also remember, both things can happen. I mean, just as Pommie was talking about players, teams trying out new players, those players might necessarily be better and extremely involved because they finally got their chance. And one thing that Pommie is saying is very true. There are 56 first 11 Indian players. Okay, 8 teams, 7 Indian players, 56. That becomes, so 56 means you assume there are about 70, 80 guys who are definitely first 11 prospects, serious first 11 prospects. That when that goes to 70 because of the teams, your pool suddenly increases. So guys who are just about fringe now, I mean, I'll give you great examples. Abhishek Sharma, right now just on the fringe. He's a good player, but he's not getting a first 11 place. Those guys will suddenly come into contention. So for them, they know it. I could be not only picked in the auction, I could be a first 11 player. There's another interesting thing. Suppose Chennai now wins their next couple of games, okay? And they go to a situation where they're 11 and 2, okay? And they're definitely sure of first place. Okay, Chennai is an aging side, okay? They're not a young team. They have a lot of bodies that need rest. What stops them from turning around in a crucial match, because it's not crucial to them, and saying, you know what, Jadeja, I'm not going to risk you. Bravo, I'm not going to risk you. There's big games coming in the next couple of days. I don't want to risk you guys. It's happened before in 2010 when Kolkata played against Mumbai. Mumbai rested 5 of their first team. Harbhajan captained the team. Sachin didn't even come to Calcutta. So those things also happen. A team that is surely first or second, because this is a very tight tournament, could end up actually telling guys at that point in time, hey, you know what, just take it easy for a couple of days, because, there's nothing to play for other than injury right now.